We were very young when we fell in love and started our lives together. We made our plans to go through life and be together forever. Now I feel so sad and lonely, and my heart is cheering pain. I can hear the cold wind late at night, and it seems to call your...
Steve Quick here with the Voices of the Community Radio Show, and of course I'm talking to a friend of the show's. We interviewed him back in June here on the radio show, and good morning, Mr. Eric Lewis. You doing all right, sir?
Good morning, Steve. Yes, I'm doing great, and it's good to get to visit with you again, and I appreciate you having me on your radio show again.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Of course, you're associated and are part of the Kentucky Eternals band.
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit how they're doing?
Yes, my band's going great. They're the new Kentucky Colonels, and like I said, we stay real busy. We do this full time. We go over the United States, and we try to get down in your area, Nashville, when we can too. But we're all songwriters, and we're on a record label, Lake Paradise Records. And like I said, I've been in this business for a long, long time, 59 years. So I've been to a lot of states. I've been to a lot of events, played festivals, fairs, corporate, anything to have entertainment. So I've had a lot of good experience, in the business over the years.
Well, it's great to always catch up with you and see how things are going. Would you like to elaborate on a little show that's coming up on the 20th in your part of the country? Or where's it at, and
Yes,
what's it all about?
Yeah, I think that too. As everybody knows, the Grand Opry started there in Nashville in 1925. But Mr. George D. Hayes, he was the founder of the Grand Opry, and I live in West Plain, Missouri, and about 25 miles south of a little place called Old Town, Missouri.
Right.
There's a cabin that stands, and he attended that. And so he got his inspiration. They were having the square dance. So he was in his early 20s, and that's where he got his inspiration, for the Grand Opry. And I think he had been up in Chicago to WLS and started the WLS barn dance, and then they hired him as the new program director of WSM then in 1925, and with that inspiration, he started the WSM barn dance. Officially in 27, he called it the Grand Opry. So
Right.
what we do, we have the George D. Hayes Society, and we have a Hall of Honor, and we have a museum. We induct a few stars, and our induction is going to be this next Saturday on the 20th of August here at Willow Springs, there at the Star Theater. And this year we're inducting some pretty well-known names. For Freddie Hart, he was a big Grand Opry star.
Oh, yeah, Freddie Hart, yeah.
And Jim Owen is at Branson. He's a big, well-known, entertainer. He's been there at Branson, and he's from Kentucky. And I released one of his songs, I Won't Be Home Anymore, on a CD a few years ago.
Right.
And then there's a young group there in Nashville you may be familiar with, called the Railers.
Yeah, the Railers, yeah.
And I think their name is Lawson, but they're from that, between West Plains and Springfield, a place called Mountain Grove, Missouri, where they were raised.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have this Ozarks history. And then another person is Doug Driesel. He's our vice president of our society, and he's also got a record label, Lake Paradise Records. As I mentioned, my group is on.
Right.
And he lives at Cherokee Village, Arkansas, and he's played a lot with Mickey Gillian, and a lot of those names he's been in Europe. So he's another one of our inductees.
Well, I'll tell you, that sounds like a really impressive thing's going to be going on up there. I wish I had the ability to attend something like that. I always love good
I sure wish
things.
you could. We would love to have you, but I understand. You're a long ways down the road, and sometimes it's hard for people to get away. And
Right.
a lot of times, sometimes we hope that some of the inductees will be here because we try to get them to perform over here. But Doug he's a big entertainer, so he's going to put on a concert for us, And then also there were 3 musicians that played at that Cabin Hoedown, in 1919. So we give what we call the Ozarks Champion Award to local musicians to commemorate those musicians, you know.
Well, also you're going to be in September. Going to be down in the Nashville area at the Schermerhorn Center with the Josie Show. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true, and that's a really big honor to get invited down there. Of course, our promoter, Roger Wood Sr. Of course, you're familiar with him. And,
yes. Oh, yes.
And he's responsible for it. Of course, I've known about the Josie Show for several years, and in fact, she has some of our music that she plays on her show. But anyway, there's a lady out of the Carolinas, out of North or South Carolina. Her name is Judy Haney.
Right, Judy Haney. That's right. We know Judy.
She is an award-winning lady, and a great songwriter and a great singer, and so I'm going to get to entertain with her down there at that Josie Show Awards. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, it's going to be great to get to meet you face to face. Of course, you've always been a good guest here with me on the radio show. And Eric, I really do appreciate you talking to me this morning here on our show. And best of luck with everything you're doing. I know you've been ailing you say a broken wrist that you had a couple of months back. Is that right?
About a month ago, I injured my left wrist. And I'm not able to use it. I'll probably have to end up having surgery on it. But I've got an appointment on next Thursday on the 18th, and hopefully I'll get this straightened out, because it's very difficult to play guitar with, when you can't bend your fingers.
That's right. I know what you're saying. Well, Eric, I appreciate you so much, and best of luck, and we're looking forward, and I'm sure we're going to get a good interview with you at the Josie Show. So I guess we'll see you there at the Josie Show, and appreciate you once again for being our guest here this morning on the Voices of the Community radio show.
We were very young when we fell in love and started our lives together. We made our plans to go through life and be together forever. Now I feel so sad and lonely, and my heart is here in pain. I can hear the cold wind late at night, and it seems to call your. Back in Kentucky on some foggy mountain top, a blue-eyed beauty waits for me. She cries every morning and I'd love to ease her pain. I'm doing time in Tennessee and I won't be home anymore. If you're gonna do the crime, then you gotta do the time. That's why they build prison cells. If you're gonna play with fire, then you're gonna get burned. Can't blame nobody but yourself.